When I was 18, I took a job cleaning out foreclosed properties for a local real estate firm in northern Michigan. Most of the time it was just trash outs and deep cleaning. Nothing exciting, just grueling work for minimum wage. But one day, my boss gave me a strange assignment. A decommissioned radio station on the outskirts of a ghost town called Lorne. The building had been abandoned since the mid-90s, yet somehow the electricity still worked. Just clear out anything left behind, my boss said, handing me a set of heavy keys. Place is going up for auction, don't touch the broadcast equipment. When I asked why, he just shook his head. FCC stuff, don't mess with it. So I drove out there, hours from the nearest gas station, into dense forest and rolling fog. The radio station sat behind a sagging chain-link fence, covered in ivy and flaking red paint. The sign above the door read WZRD 103.3, the voice of the forgotten. The place stank of mold and rusted metal. I found a raccoon skeleton in the break room, a pile of reel-to-reel tapes in the hallway, and stacks of dusty vinyl in the broadcast booth. But the oddest thing? The broadcast console was still warm. The on-air sign above the booth pulsed faintly red, as though something was transmitting. Thinking it might be a fluke, I turned on the receiver in the booth and tuned it to 103.3 FM. Static, then a whisper. Are you listening? I jumped back, heart pounding. It had been faint, like someone murmuring right behind me. But when I spun around, I was alone. I should have left then, should have locked the door and driven off. But I was young and stupid and curious in all the wrong ways. I started going through the logbooks, the tapes, the records. WZRD had shut down in 1995 after the on-air DJ, a man named Felix Crane, supposedly died during a broadcast. I found a newspaper clipping confirming it. Local radio host dies in studio, heart attack suspected. But someone had scrawled in red pen across the clipping, he didn't die, he changed. The next few nights, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Something was nagging at me, like a loose thread I couldn't stop pulling. So I returned, not to clean, but to listen. I brought a sleeping bag, some snacks, and a digital recorder. I tuned the receiver to 103.3 and waited. Hours passed. Static. Then just before 3 a.m., the static faded. Welcome back, listeners, a voice crooned, deep and syrupy, with a 1950s radio charm. This is DJ Felix Crane, and you've been missed. I froze. We've got some special requests tonight, the voice continued. Lonely souls, lost hearts. Let's start with one for Jake in Traverse City. Jake, you shouldn't have taken your sister's car. My stomach dropped. That was me. I had borrowed my sister's car to drive to the station that night. No one knew. No one could have known. You think you're alone, Felix said, but the airwaves remember. We all leave an echo. The hairs on my arm stood straight. This wasn't a recording, it was live. Then the music started. A warbling rendition of Blue Moon, warped like a record being played backward. I tried to turn the radio off, but the knob wouldn't move. My phone screen cracked in my pocket. The lights flickered. And then his voice changed. No longer smooth, no longer human, just static layered with something wet, something hungry. Jake, stay tuned. I ran. I didn't even grab my stuff, just bolted for the car, peeling off into the woods, heart hammering like a jackrabbit. But the nightmare didn't end there. That night my dreams were filled with radio static and the faint hum of dead frequencies. In the distance, through all the noise, I heard him calling my name. I woke up just before sunrise, drenched in sweat, my heart pounding like I'd been running for miles. My bedroom clock read 5:07 a.m., but the faint static in my ears told me I wasn't fully awake. I sat up, rubbed my eyes, and froze. The little travel radio I kept on my nightstand, the one I never used, was on. The dial was set to 103.3 FM. The volume was barely audible, but beneath the hiss, a slow, steady breathing seeped into the room. I slammed it off and yanked the batteries out. But even after I killed the sound, I could still hear it, somewhere deep in my head. I tried to brush it off the next day, convincing myself it was just leftover nerves from the creepy night at the station. But the more I tried to ignore it, the more the world seemed to push back. When I went to the grocery store, the tinny speakers overhead, the ones that normally played bad pop music, started humming with static. I could swear I heard my name again, buried in the noise. The cashier must have seen the color drain from my face, because she gave me this cautious, "You okay?" "Look." I muttered something about not feeling well and left. By the third night, the dreams were back. I was in the broadcast booth again, but this time Felix was sitting across from me. He was older than in the newspaper photos I'd seen, gaunt with skin that seemed stretched too tightly over his skull. His smile was wrong, his teeth sharp but oddly flat, like the edge of a vinyl record. He leaned toward the microphone and spoke, but the words didn't come from his mouth. They came from everywhere at once. The air, the floorboards, the blood in my veins. Radio waves never die, Jake. They just wait for someone to listen. When I woke, my phone was on and the voice recorder app had been running for exactly 3 hours and 33 minutes. The file was just static, except if I turned the volume all the way up, I could make out faint music. Blue Moon, warbling backward. The next morning, I drove out to Lorne again. I told myself it was to prove I wasn't losing it, but deep down, I knew it was because I wanted to hear him again. The forest seemed thicker this time. The fog clung to the treetops, curling like smoke. When I reached the chain-link fence, the on-air light was glowing brighter than before, a vivid, pulsing red like it was breathing. Inside, the station looked untouched, even though I'd left my sleeping bag and gear scattered across the booth last time. Everything was neatly stacked in a corner. The receiver was already tuned to 103.3. I sat down, put on the headphones, and waited. This time, Felix didn't make me wait long. "Welcome back, Jake," he said warmly, as though I were an old friend returning from a long trip. "Let's get right to it. Tonight's request is for you." My throat went dry. "What do you want from me?" I asked. He chuckled, a sound like old vinyl popping and cracking. "Want, Jake, I need you. The airwaves fade without voices, and yours is perfect." I ripped off the headphones, but his voice kept going, not through the speakers, not even in my head this time. It was coming from the walls. The plaster vibrated with every word. Then the turntable in the corner began spinning on its own. No record on it, just the bare platter rotating faster and faster until the sound became a high, keening wail. The studio door slammed shut behind me. "Stay tuned, Jake," Felix whispered right in my ear. I don't remember how I got home that night. My car was parked crooked in my driveway when I woke the next day, the driver's side door still open. I told myself I wouldn't go back. I meant it, but the pull was stronger now, like some invisible tether from the station to my chest. By the following week, I was back at WZRD. Only this time, the broadcast board wasn't dusty anymore. The knobs gleamed like new, and a fresh reel of tape spun slowly, waiting for someone to hit record. Felix's voice came through instantly. "You're ready now, Jake. Time to make your debut." I glanced at the mic. Its red live indicator flared like a beating heart. "I'm not." I started, but the headphones screamed with feedback, cutting me off. My vision swam. The world tilted. The next thing I knew, I was speaking. My own voice, smooth and calm, but saying things I didn't understand. Names, addresses, secrets I didn't know I knew. Felix laughed softly in the background. "Good. Very good. The airwaves will love you." That was 3 days ago. Now, every time I pass a car on the highway, I see their radios flicker to 103.3. Every time I step into a store, the music cuts out and the speakers hum with static. And last night, I heard my own voice on my bedroom radio, introducing the next song. I didn't remember recording it. I don't think I'm the only one speaking anymore, either. Between my words, I can hear Felix whispering to the audience, calling for new listeners. I've stopped sleeping. But it's only a matter of time before you tune in. And when you do, I'll be there to welcome you.